Welcome, military millionaires. I am your host, the wonderful Alexander the Great. I'm here with my slightly above average co-host, David Pere. We are here for another episode of the From Military to Millionaire podcast. David, and you got a friend with you. Thank you for coming. How are you today?
Yes. My friend is Andrew Jones, who I think everybody on the show has at this point heard about, but not met. So Andrew started as acquisitions manager for the company, and now I guess he's the COO. I don't know. We're just making up titles because there's like a whole bunch of jobs and he's doing them all. And then we just like, well, we'll just say you're doing this, and then hopefully we grow and actually becomes a thing. So
it's just to make me feel important.
Yeah.
So
that's what I love about corporate bureaucracy is it started off as like, everybody's a manager, and then it became it used to be one vice president in a company. And now it's like, every slightly above low level manager is a vice president. And then now it's trickled into people who have companies with one employee or somehow a CEO. And so
VP of COO-age. There we go.
Yeah.
Chief douchebag.
Yeah. You got, board, head of the board, and it's like there's one person in the whole company, and it's an LLC, and no stakeholders, no shareholders, just it's a bunch of
just stroking our egos.
It's just a bunch of insecurity.
Or whatever you're stroking.
Bunch of insecurity manifest as importance. So congratulations on your very important promotion.
Thank you. It's a big deal.
Just to clarify here, he came to me and was like, "Hey, I think I should be this role." I'm not making up roles for him.
It's not a personal dig at all. It's
you're right.
Endemic.
It just
it's endemic in our culture.
It does help your LinkedIn. I noticed that. I almost said something the other day. I was like, "Oh, look, he's the COO."
Well, I posted a job ad the other day, and I was like, it would look better if I was posting a job ad for somebody applying, if I looked like I was, somebody that mattered, that was hiring them. So
yeah, the end goal ultimately, I think for both of us is a partnership on some level. It's just making sure he's not a piece of shit before we,
before you let him know that you're a piece of shit.
Yeah. I mean, he's probably figured that out if he looks at my schedule and he's like, "God, I thought you said we could talk at this time." And I'm like, "You're right. It's on the calendar. How about we just keep pushing that for another 35 minutes?"
I just told him before we sign any paperwork, we're officially partners. He better make sure that he's okay with me too, because I'm a lot harder to get rid of when I'm partner than I am just, working with him.
He's hard to get rid of already. So Andrew, if you haven't figured out, is like, this is like the epitome of like when people talk like visionary integrator, like he is so detail oriented, it drives me nuts. And I'm traveling to Dallas on Friday and just called the event coordinator 20 minutes ago to ask if I should fly in Friday or Saturday. So like, could care less.
I need one of those, but now I'm supposed to be doing that for Climb Capital details, and it's like not going well because I can start you a podcast and help you create content and get you a vision and help you raise money and do big picture stuff. But if you need me to send out emails with the correct links, you are in trouble.
Hey, speaking of, and then we'll get into what we're going to talk about today. How'd your first episode go?
Of what?
Your political podcast. Didn't you do the first episode last night?
Yeah, went tremendously well. Better than I had. I had high expectations, but it went even better. We had 15 people live,
nice.
A bunch of questions, bunch of interactions, and then it's doing well on the backside. So we are going to do that more often. It's just a matter of getting the right guests and getting in a flow. I've kind of tiptoed into it because I was like, I really don't want to go super hard. And now I wish I'm doing a live broadcast every week of different topics. One of them happens to be political. I say political, but it's really like geopolitics.
Yeah.
Which was interesting because as soon as we went live last night, Russia invaded Ukraine.
Mm-hmm.
So it was
nobody saw that coming.
Right. It was really good timing for us.
What's the point of doing a political podcast if you're not going to go hard? If you want that soft stuff, turn on Facebook. If you want it hard, let's go with it.
It's hard to go. it's hard to go all in.
Yeah.
On
Yeah.
politics.
It's hard to go all in on a lot of things. People don't talk about that, but like humans have this like almost governor built into us where it's like, I use the analogy like when you're like an 8-year-old kid and you're wrestling and you have no idea of like with strength. So you like go all out all the time. And it's like you get older and you learn to like limit what you're doing. And it almost like, like I struggle with it when I go all in on something. It's like, I'm not really, I don't know, like the whole burn the ships thing sounds great, but it is not easy to do.
It's not easy to go all in. And then like, what do you mean by all in? Do you want me to quit my job?
Yeah.
I mean, do you want me to really go all in? Do you want me to do it 24/7? Because that's all in. And so I have other things that I want to talk about. I have other content that I want to make, and I have other interests. And it's like, I want to go hard, but it's also like, you want to leave yourself an out in case you're like, hey, look, this is not going to work. Nobody's going to watch this. I don't have an audience for this. Nobody cares what I have to say about the political landscape. Does it have longevity? So it's more like, let me see if I can gain an audience and then I'll go all in. It's hard to go all in out of the gate. You're like, I have no proof of concept and I want to turn everything else off and do a hard marketing campaign for this. It's tough. It's tough. The content doesn't scare me in any capacity. I know I'm very well read on the subject and I know how to articulate my ideas. It's just a matter of, can you find the right guests? Can you find the right audience? And can you do it in a way that's not, that's unique? Because there's a lot of political content out there. Nobody needs to hear my opinion. Well, that being said, I think my approach, there's a lot of opportunity.
Well, and you're trying to fill a weird void too, where you're more neutral and not like coming at a political podcast from one side or the other. Whereas like, seems kind of like in today's society, it's like polarization is really the only means of communication in politics. So it's like, it's kind of,
it sells well.
Yeah.
I'm probably oversimplifying it because I'm not in this world like you guys are, but I would probably, something we'll get to later today talking about this is like provide value and let the chips fall where they may. Like if you're actually providing value in it, then you have less to worry about.
Yeah, sure. Well, like I said, like David said, everything
that's easy to say. I know.
Yeah. Well, it's a very WWF style arena, right? Where it's like, it's very much like me versus him. And it's very cartoonized politics. It's become very, very, it just sells. It sells, anger sells. Oh, yeah. And I don't really care about anger. I care about, critically thinking through complex ideas. And there's just a smaller audience for that because people don't really want to do critically thinking through complex ideas. They want to do, F those guys over there. They're the root of all my problems. And anyways, so the first episode went well. We had Anna Kelly on and she was very excited. She's like, I'll come back every 2 weeks. I'll come back every month. So that was exciting. If I can get I have 6 people lined up. If I can get some form of them, even 4 of them, I might do it once a week. But I don't know how much news there is right now. As the midterms ramp up, then there'll be a lot more things to cover. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
There's no money in it. So
yet.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, you blow up as a political podcast. There's plenty of sponsors.
Oh yeah. Well, you got a real problem then, right? Because
yeah.
Then you got to say what they want. So
that's true. They're not all sponsors you want, right? It's not like Rentometer where it's like, oh man, we'll talk about you. We all use you. You're awesome. And this guy's bugging me about why I need to renew my membership for it. So
yeah, you get sponsored by the pillow company and you find out that the guy has an unbelievable political agenda. So who is out there that's going to fund you for a political show that doesn't want influence?
Yeah.
Goose egg. So
the Koch brothers or whatever their names are.
Coke.
Yeah. They clearly no strings at all.
Yeah. But it's going to go well. Oh, also we're doing a show next Wednesday. I don't know when this will release. Next Wednesday called For Creators by Creators. And it's me and Austin Clark. And we're going to do another live show. And it's going to be us talking about basically a show for people who are entrepreneurial or business oriented and they want to start creating content, but they don't know how. And so we're going to go through like YouTube channels and be like, how do you like this? What kind of equipment is you might have? How do you set this up? What kind of obstacles you run into? Like what kind of trends, are coming out? So it'll be for people kind of like you and I would have been 3 or 4 years ago, where you're like, I want to start YouTube channel, but I don't know how. What should I buy? How should I get started? How do I make it look cool?
I binge watched Pat Flynn.
Yeah. So but the next generation of Pat Flynn is going to be Alex and Austin. It's going to be called For Creators, by creators, for creators.
I like it. I think there's it's a niche for sure, but I think that there's a lot of people out there who are interested in that. So
yeah,
if you got, I don't know, if you need help, happy to throw my hat in the ring for anything there. Feel free.
Everything about your set I designed. So I think you need my help. I don't think I need yours. Boom.
I was talking about the content, not the lighting.
Boom. Roasted.
That's true. Everything about my lighting and setup, you did design.
Yeah. Actually, I'm looking around at that thing. That's
But who gets the views?
That's yeah. I somehow
Thank
have
you.
Yeah, you have a work ethic that I just cannot match. That is true.
I don't know about that. It looks that way from the outside. I'm a fucking chaotic wrecking ball.
Yeah.
But, you know.
One day I'll hire a content. If I could get somebody to partner up with that could just do my content like organization for me, I'd be deadly.
Dude, the problem with that is like that's not a cheap, like the people who are good at that, I mean, that's a 6-figure job. And so it's like, unless I'm doing like a profit share or something, I mean, that's rough because they're either doing it themselves or they're the guy who likes to be behind the camera. But if they're good at being like D-Rock probably makes 7 figures working for Gary Vee, right? But he started, like I would love for somebody to come along and be like, hey, I'm going to intern for you and we're going to blow this thing up. But the problem is that most of the guys willing to do that aren't at a level where it's like the guys who are good enough to actually blow your shit up out of the water,
they'll do it themselves.
You're paying them an arm and a leg because they'll do it themselves. They don't need you.
Wait, I just need somebody to upload. Who uploads your stuff?
I do.
You do it all yourself?
Yeah. The only thing I outsource right now for the YouTube channel is some of the editing. I still do some of it, but it depends on.
Dude, you're a workaholic.
Well, that's why my editing lacks though too, because I'm not a great editor.
But look, your channel. I have good editing, but I have no views because I can't even get videos out fast enough because it takes me so long to do my little shtick.
And this is why I can't get any of his attention when I need work on the real estate stuff.
Yeah. Well, look, the good news is he's bad at most of it, so it balances. He's like, look how much I did, half-assed.
It's a quality quantity thing, right? Because if I want to get out 3 videos a week with my current skill level, they're not going to be high quality because
oh my god, 3 videos a week. That's insane.
Yeah, I try to do a Monday, Wednesday, Friday at least.
And so this is what we talked about before about like going all in. You're like, David is not an all in. He's trying to go all in on everything, and like fundamentally you can't go all in on everything. You can go all in on one thing.
Yeah.
And so it's like, do you want to go all in on real estate? Do you want to go all in? So I think what David, you've done really well though, is being able to start hiring people. So it's like, here, you go all in on real estate. I'll go all in on, building a company.
Yeah. Well, and that's why he got the fancy title. And that's why we actually were hiring. We've got a girl coming in today to figure out what computer and stuff, whatever setup she needs to be our new lead manager / transaction coordinator. But the whole reason for the fancy title and all of that is that we realized as we were growing this, that like, I really do enjoy the real estate side, the off-market deals and the hunting and the buying properties for pennies on the dollar and all the fun that comes with renovations and whatever. But that business is a very like, there's always something that needs your attention business. And so every day it was like, I'm going to make 6 videos today so that I can fund the next 2 weeks of whatever. Never mind. I'm going to do that tomorrow because I've got to go run and check on this. And so,
dude, you're better at marketing.
And so that's literally what we're working on is growing this enough and giving him enough. I'm focused on the marketing and the raising money, and then he's running the appointments and the projects and whatever. We're doing a trial run, about to bring a contractor on full time, and then he'll be able to run that side while I do like the marketing and raising money side for it, and then I can focus on YouTube and the podcast. And speaking of, I've got I think I'm going to can the editor that we're currently using. They're not bad. They're just, I think if we're doing these kinds of episodes that are more casual, we don't need them for the price. And so I think I'm going to find like a VA to do. I want to focus more on like vertical, like reel, like clips for reels and TikTok and like clips for YouTube, because that does way better than like full podcast episode on YouTube.
Okay.
At least I think.
I need to hire somebody to do the Climb Capital podcast. It's coming along. I'm editing it. This is not sustainable.
I did that for 50 episodes. I don't do that anymore.
I'm going to do it for 25 episodes.
Well, and Alex's problem is he has a quality thing where he's good at it. So he's actually editing those. When I was editing the podcast, it was intro in the beginning. Like, I think I've told you this. You were the only person when I was editing it myself. You are the only time I've ever edited anything between the entry and the intro outro. And it was one time, it was the first time we ever recorded. You like lost your train of thought, and it was like a 45-second piece where you were just like, fuck, what was that? Fuck. And at the time I was like, I don't know if I want this to be explicit. So I cut that. That was the only cut I ever made.
How dare
in
you?
50 episodes.
Dude, I'm literally learning how to master audio and like do noise reduction. I mean, I am like learning how to use Adobe Audition right now. And I'm going to learn it just good enough so that I can hire somebody else to do it and then never do it again.
All right. So we're going to talk some real estate, because otherwise he's going to be like, why the fuck did you bring me in here to talk with you guys? What do you got going on with Climb Capital? We haven't really like talked about that since you, I mean,
I'm trying to find my place in Climb Capital right now. We're doing a lot of marketing. I feel like I'm adding value. Some days I'm insecure about it. Some days I feel really confident. We got a podcast coming out called Inside the Climb, and it's going to be a really interesting format where it's just the 7 of us talking to each other in 2 pairs, where we just talk to no guests, no interview, just like, hey, what's going on inside the company? And so it'll be us building a company, and that's getting built. So that'll come out, I think, early April.
You should hire a film crew and do it The Office style, where it's like you pan past Jeremy and he's just like sitting in this chair, like, I really did like that.
I would like to do it on video, but it's expensive right now, and there's without a podcast being. Yeah. So right now we're worried about income generation, not throwing around big money for theoretical, projects. So starting the podcast, we're doing these deal debriefs. We're doing another one tonight, actually, at 7 p.m. And so that's been a really interesting, like a Zoom webinar where we just go over, existing deals and how they got done, how they got paid for, how we found them, what the investor payout was. And those are with live Q&A. Those have been interesting. And then they go up on YouTube later. So that's been kind of easy content. We're starting a fund. So I got to learn how to do an an outbound marketing campaign where I'm going to try to get say again?
Like a Reg A?
No, it'll be a 506C.
Oh, nice.
We have $20 million in LOI out right now. I think probably 4 of those is going to lock up pretty easily. Actually, I take that back. 4 of that million is under contract. Another 15.5 is an off-market deal that Jake locked up. I'm pretty sure we're going to lock that up. So we have another project that I can't talk about yet, where we're acquiring a business, a fairly large business that should close in a few weeks. That's going to be a very exciting thing. And then if that closes, I will be down to do pictures and videos. Have some of that content.
I assume
the goal is to buy.
Been talking about for a while. That one's pretty cool.
Yeah, the goal is to buy $65 million worth of real estate this year, not including that M&A purchase. So if we can get 20 in the first quarter, that'll be on track. I'm just trying to make sure that I earn my keep, find my place, bring in investors who want to make some money. And we are full on pivoting to RV parks, which I'm really excited about, because I'm telling you, bro, I'm over C-class value add. I think it was great 5 or 6, 8 years ago but now most of them have been flipped. The margins are crunched. And with this looming rate hikes and 5-year balloons, I can't see the future, but I worry. Yeah. So I think RV parks, especially like what we're doing is we're buying these like kind of low end RV parks and spruce them up. We put pools and amenities at them, and then we attract A-tier customers. So you get an A tier customer, you get a C class cap rate, and then you have no maintenance because you just own the dirt.
Yeah.
So and then you get people with like, you know, real RVs and real trailers showing up, like, you know, people that take care of your place. So it's a really interesting it's kind of what people are doing, what Open Door Capital is doing with mobile homes, but instead of going bro, okay, so what's going to happen? I don't want to make too big a conversation of it. What's going to happen over the next few years is you're going to see wealth inequality rise because of you're going to get economic volatility. And anytime you get economic volatility, the rich get richer, the poor struggle harder. And so what Open Door Capital, Turner's company, has basically said is we're going to bet on the D tier. And some people are going higher, like Grant Cardone's company is going towards the A tier. Right. And so those are the bets. Everywhere in the middle is going to get crunched. Those are the bets. And so what Climb Capital has basically done is said, we're going to go for these traditionally low tier asset classes, but make them for an A tier customer, an RV park. So that's kind of that's our bet. We do not want, I've had too many C and D class apartment buildings. I don't want any more. That's a lot of work for a theoretical return and a lot of headaches and sometimes a lot of 911 calls.
You know what I really like about the RV model? So the mobile home park model is really tempting for a lot of people because same thing. You own the dirt, you do some landscaping, and you don't own the building. You lease the lot, right? So it's like, okay, cool, minimal maintenance, minimal whatever. The RV model, very similar, but they pay you up front. So it's like, I love that as a guy who's gone through 1 million evictions. And you know, whatever, like, well, I say 1 million evictions, like let me clarify, mostly inherited tenants, but I've had some really bad ones. And it's like, well, that wouldn't happen if they paid before they showed up and then left. Like,
yeah, we've done some interesting things too, where we do have monthly rents on the RV parks as well. And we partnered up. Part of that M&A acquisition is an manufacturing component, and we are going to be manufacturing tiny homes on wheels, and then we're going to roll them onto an RV park. Right, you get to depreciate it by 100%, and then you have a tiny home Airbnb on an RV park that you can extract more income out of that isn't in like what a pro forma would see. So you get an RV park with 100 units, and then you add 10 tiny homes, rent them out as Airbnb. And you have now a diverse set of income streams.
Yeah.
So really, really exciting times.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right. And I'm going to let Andrew tell you about what we're doing, because I told him he was going to come on here. We were all going to talk about deals we were doing. So I don't want to waste his time or he'll never talk to me again. Should be a blessing. I
can drink coffee at my desk. I didn't have to come in here for this.
Andrew, why don't you introduce yourself a little bit more thoroughly too?
Just like sit off to the side.
Well, I'm going to try to get in Dave's light here.
Yeah. Can both of you guys fit in that frame?
Luckily, it's a wide angle.
Yeah.
So
Thick boys. So my name's Andrew Jones. The last few years, I've actually been doing vacant land, sneaking out. So I've been buying and selling vacant land. It's kind of a wholesale flipping type of scenario. And so I've actually had some experience with the mobile home and RV clientele in that world. And I can certainly tell you, I would rather deal with RV guys. But that's just my experience. Did that for a few years, and there was actually liked it. It was just pretty active, and I just wanted to do something a little bit different. Ended up going back into a W-2. And had known Dave for a few years, and just I kind of got the feeling he was wanting to grow, and he was coming back in town. Tried to just kind of beat him up a little bit to figure out what he was doing, somewhat to help him out, but a little bit selfishly that like I wanted to get back into real estate and wasn't doing it full time anymore and missed it and was tired of working for somebody else. So we had several conversations about that, and I basically forced him into deciding what he was going to do with, his active real estate portfolio, and was he going to grow it, and did he need help? And if he did, did he want me to help with that? And we came into it just very open and honest from the beginning. Like, hey, I'm not new to this. I don't need you to train me. but I'm also not going to act like a newbie with you either. And certain things that come with that. So, I think so far it's been good. The nice part is that we've grown. You've always got that section of time where like you're wanting things to happen and you think like, what do they say? You overestimate what you can do in the short term, which was kind of us at the beginning. We're like, okay, well, we know what we're doing. Why are we not making $100,000 a month immediately? This is stupid. And then all of a sudden, a few months later, we blow up. We're like, oh crap, this is too much at once. What are we doing? Which is good. And I say blow up relatively, like it's just the two of us doing it at this point. So, and he's focused on doing things like this. It's mainly me. So, if I want to run $1 million company, it's really tough to do that with one person. So, that's where we're at this point where I did talk him into doing more of a rehab component, which he's not super keen on, but I also knew going into this that if he wanted to grow his rental portfolio, that was going to be the best way to do it, so that we could take distressed properties, fix them up, and then decide whether we're going to sell them or add them to his portfolio. And just kind of built a team around me with GCs and contractors, and now we're bringing in this lead manager, and we're growing, which is exciting. We're on track for our goals for this year, which is exciting. And yeah, I think this is eventually going to end up in a more long-term official partnership, but we're just having fun along the way. As much as he wants to complain about it, we are having a good time.
Yeah. So a little context there, I suppose. For one, the main reason that I wasn't super keen on renovations is because the last time I did a flip is actually the deal that has resulted in the last year and a half of Alex saying I'm not very good at real estate, because it went terrible. And I wouldn't say that's the only deal, but every time Alex,
I was like, there's a couple of deals that you've done that really made me question your talent.
So I lost 30 grand and just got like robbed. So yeah, I mean, the flipping a house is much riskier than just assigning the contract and moving on, or buying it for yourself. But I'm not a detail guy, so he's been running that. He kind of pussyfooted around the fact that he, like, when he says he came to me and like beat me up, like he literally, I was super out of my comfort zone. I was in the spot where it was like, I don't know if I want this to grow or if I want to kill it and focus on the brand. And I kind of want to do both, but I can't do both, but I don't know, blah, blah, blah. But I was like super in my head. Like my first hire was my executive assistant, and she had just started like a month and a half prior. And I didn't have enough work for her, and I was paying her, and I didn't know how I was going to be able to afford her and all this. It was just weird timing. And Andrew's like, yo, asshole, let me come work for you. And then like for like 3 weeks, it's like, hey, you want me to come do this? Hey, here's all my experience. You want me to come do this? And then he finally, at one point, he was like, hey, asshole, if you don't do this, I'm going to go work for this other guy in town who's way bigger than you. But I'm letting you know. And just so happened that said other guy and I were at a meetup that week, and he was complaining because he was like, I'm trying to hire this role and this role and this role, and fucking nobody wants a job. Damn it. At this point, I'll take anyone. And I was like, if this guy's telling me that he's going to go work for that guy, and that guy is griping that he can't hire anybody, who am I not to hire him? I should probably take this guy and figure out what happens. And like,
just to be clear, I had not officially reached out to that guy and been turned down or anything. Yeah. I had not contacted him yet.
He was threatening me.
I knew he was hiring, and I was like, look, Dave, I would rather work with you, but if you don't want me to, just let me know and I'll go do it. I'll go make this other guy money. Just depends on who you want to make, have the money.
Yeah.
I know I've listened to you guys talk a lot on the podcast about when people they come up and, hey, let me buy you a cup of coffee or buy you lunch, and let's sit and you give me all your years of experience and just train me for free, and we'll figure out how I can add value later. Or why don't you tell me how I can add value? And it was more like, I brought Dave out for breakfast and said, hey, what are your plans? What do you want to do? How can I make that happen? But also, here's what I bring to the table, and I don't expect you to babysit me. I'm not a charity case. Realistically, and he won't toot his own horn here, but I tell him all the time, like, not to be an asshole, but I didn't need him to grow another real estate business. I had already done that. What I loved about it was he was really good at connections and his visionary role makes it really easy for him to do marketing and really easy for him to raise capital and be able to fulfill something that I didn't have. But I knew I could come in and work my ass off and make us both a lot of money by utilizing what he brought to the table and me doing things that he clearly couldn't do himself or wasn't willing to.
Yeah, that's kind of what I did with Climb Capital. Like they're really good at operations and they don't have somebody that's like, hey, look, we got to get the world to know who we are. And I'm like, ooh, I can do that. I can't do it as good as David in some ways, but you know, I'm getting better. But that sounds like
your content is way better. It just, and I'm happy to sit down and talk, but it's like
it's operations,
the SEO, like
oh my god,
like I was actually talking with Austin Clark because he was like, man, I don't know why Alex hasn't blown up, and I was like, Alex's YouTube channel is designed as though he were Graham Stephan, meaning if Graham Stephan makes a video that's like, oh my god, I can't believe this happened, everybody watches it because he's got like 3 million followers, so they all see the notification, but nobody's going to search for, oh my god, what is Graham Stephan, whatever, you know. So I was like, Alex just needs to get a few, like 1 or 2 videos that pop for like stupid shit, like how do I invest in an RV park or whatever, where somebody who types it in sees you, because your content is far and above anyone else in that realm. It's just making it to where they see it when they're looking, like answer a question that they're looking for and you'll blow up.
Yeah, it'll be all right. Somebody said the other day, they're like, I was on the phone, I was on the Zoom with Jonathan Farber.
Yeah.
And he's like, dude, your setup is dope. And I was drinking I have a coffee cup that looks like one of my lenses. He's like, dude, everything you do is so dope. And I was like, he's like, how come the world doesn't know? And I'm like, because I'm too busy being dope to tell them. But no, I love that you guys have that good fit. I would love to find, I love, it sounds like a lot like, you know, visionary integrator. It's a really good fit. I'm hoping that my place, I'm thinking about myself. I'm hoping that my fit with Climb Capital is similar. But I'm really glad that you guys linked up, and I know you guys have been friends for a while. So, and then we all hung out in Orlando.
Yep.
So it sounds like, you know, kind of like partnerships, you know, I always tell, one of my positions on partnerships is, you know, don't partner with somebody on a single family home. Like that's a crazy idea, because now you're like you guys said at the beginning, it's like, it's hard to get rid of you. Once you have that partnership and it's legal, it's like, it's hard to get rid of you. And now we're going to do it to share for 30 years, you know, tentatively to share $300 a month, $200 a month, maybe less, depending on how you buy it, on a single family home. I don't like you that much. There's 30 years is a lot of time to learn how to hate somebody, and you better have some real money. You better have a real operation. So it's good that you guys kind of sounds like you went slow a little bit. You're easing into it.
We didn't try to. We just, I spent a shitload on marketing that was not doing what it needed to do until I found what was.
Also, what's that old saying? Slow to hire, quick to fire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, it's interesting though. Someone asked me last week about hiring, because people see that I'm starting to grow this team, right? So it looks like I should know what I'm doing with hiring. And I was laughing because it's like, okay, so Rachel, I used Jeremy's friend. I paid $5,000 for this dude to like scout out whatever. And he like went through like 100 applicants. It gave me one, and I interviewed her. And then it was like this other company that I had, like a good friend of mine, his hiring lady had also interviewed her. And the only reason they didn't hire her is because the girl they were replacing ended up not quitting. And so like, I just happened to be like, hey, this is my first interview ever. Can you tell me what you think? And she was like, oh, I interviewed her like 2 weeks ago. She's awesome. You should hire her. And I was like, oh, so it was one interview, one hire. He basically Stockholm syndrome to me.
Who's the girl? Oh, she's my
assistant. The one who brought us the coffee at the beginning of the podcast.
I didn't see that.
So that was one interview, one hire.
Wait. One more question. Where are you right now?
Missouri.
Okay. More specifically, are you in your house?
Oh yeah. So this is the office setup. It's the basement of the Airbnb. It's a walkout 2-1.
You live there at that location?
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Well, I was looking for office spaces, but there wasn't anything I could get.
But a house is like an office space, but with a different deed. I mean,
yeah. So it works. We're actually, now that we're doing renovations and stuff and starting to buy materials in bulk, we're starting the search for an actual office space much sooner than I ever anticipated, because we're going to need warehouse space, because we can get, if we buy 10 pallets of LVP, we're getting $1 off what we're getting it at 1 or 2 pallets. For that, you know, it's
scale
like,
helps.
yeah, 20 or 30% discount is worth having a space to store it. So then he bombarded me and was like, I see that you need this, whether you see it or not. Here's what we need to do. Boom, boom, boom. And then now we're hiring our third, we've got 3 cold callers, but we're hiring our third in person. And basically we're talking about it. And the same week we were talking about it, a friend that he worked with for like 5 years at AT&T called and was like, hey, I'm looking for, you seem to be enjoying what you're doing. Are you guys hiring? Blah, blah, blah. And we put out like a couple ads, pinged a bunch of other people, and like nobody else showed up for an interview. She shows up to the interview, crushes it. I'm like, so like on the surface, it looks like Dave's starting to learn about hiring, but the reality is like, I've just kind of fallen into everybody at this point, and it seems to be working for me so far.
And dude, that's the whole universe. Oh, sorry, Andrew, go ahead.
No. I wanted to clarify, because a lot of people have asked Dave, and I want to preface, I'm not saying this to toot my own horn by any means, but I'm trying to toot his actually. A lot of people have asked him, like every time he posts about deals we're doing, and my acquisitions guy got these deals and we're making this money. And he keeps getting asked like, oh, how did you find them? And where are you interviewing these people? How did this happen?
He found me.
And Dave feels bad, because he always tells me, like, I don't have a good story for this. Like, I don't have a good, like, solid, teachable, I can't make a YouTube video about how to recreate this. And what I keep trying to tell him from my perspective is, be the guy or girl, be the person that other people want to come work with. And you don't have to worry about being a great hirer. You don't have to be a great interviewer. That's a lot harder. Like if nobody knows you and nobody gives a crap about you, then yeah, you have a lot more filtering to go through. But when I first started wholesaling 3 years ago, this guy and his mustache came in from Hawaii and did a meetup through Bigger Pockets. And I was like, holy crap, I want to do this. I'll go meet this guy. It'll be great. And he comes out the next day to look at a house I had under contract, and was super nice, even though my numbers were crap. It was my first deal. There was a dead cat melted into the carpet. It was like this awful That's thing. Funny. Yeah. And
he ended up making like what?
I made $500 on it. You learn a lesson, you make money. It worked out.
Yeah.
But realistically, what happened was we kept up with each other. I got into land, and he thought that was cool. And when he was in town, we'd meet up and we'd hang out. And we built that relationship, and I learned what he was doing. And I'm not a military guy, admittedly, which I know I'm not supposed to be on this podcast if I'm not. But I have a lot of family that's military. I love that community. And I was like, this guy's doing some really cool stuff. He's the kind of people I want to be around. And I can grow teaming with him. I can help him grow teaming with him. And so that's why I pursued him. And also don't be a piece of crap when you're pursuing other people. Like I'm not saying that you can't be new in real estate and still offer value, but what I'm saying is, like, don't come in and expect somebody to just do your business for you and completely train you. Like, if somebody's good and busy, they don't have time to babysit you. So be well-read, listen to podcasts every day on your ride in and out of town. Like, do your own freaking work, because you don't need to be babysat. We're adults here. Like, it's ridiculous for people to come in and think that other people are just going to build them a fortune and make them successful. If he had time to do that for me, he's not worth it for me. He's not worth for me to team up with him if he's got so much time to babysit me. That's not the kind of person I wanted anyway. So
I think
that's the answer for him.
I love that, because I think it goes back. I equate it to dating, right? It's like, you don't want to be good at first dates. You want to be somebody who attracts the person who's right for you.
Yep.
And so, like, if you can be the best hiring manager, like in terms of like interview or scouting resumes, but if the leads themselves aren't good fits, if you're not attracting the right people to enter in to show up, then what's the point, right? You can't turn you can't turn, it's harder to turn the wrong person right than it is to just get the right person. It's like, just get the right person to show up. So David's like, oh, I'm not good at hiring. Or I'm not that great at hiring. It's like, right. But you're doing the harder task, which is what Andrew's saying. It's like, you're acting as if somebody's like, oh, I want to go work for him. There's a guy, I don't know if he listens to this podcast, Jacob. He posted the other day about, he wants to join Open Door Capital. And I don't know how I got involved with the thing, but he's like, how can anybody have any advice? How can I do that? And I'm like, yeah, go work for them without just go do it.
Yeah. Intern.
Like, what's that?
I said, yeah, intern or something. Find
Well,
something.
don't just start sending them deals. Just start working. And, I gave him a couple other pieces of advice and I was like, go make friends with everybody who's there. Don't ask for an interview, go find out who works there and go make friends with them and then find out what their problems are and then go solve those problems. Just make yourself invaluable, whether or not they think they need you or they want you or any of these, just go make yourself indispensable. And so he's like, oh, that's actually pretty good advice. And so now he ended up doing that. And then they did give him a second. I think he's on his third interview. So now I think he actually is going to get hired. That's and awesome. He's like, dude, I owe you. And I was like, yeah, you owe me a piece of your paycheck. I want my royalties. But that's very similar where it's like, if find out somebody who's like, okay, he's doing what I want to do. He has these problems. I know how to solve them. Don't ask for permission. Just go solve those problems.
And that's what this lead manager did too. She's my same age, not like some college kid that just needed a job. She had a job she liked. But she's known me for a long time and knew, hey, Andrew's really happy with what he's doing. I want to know about that. And I would like to be involved in that. And she trusted me as a person from, you could build relationships that stuff doesn't come out of it for years. And that's okay. You're still investing in that. Yeah, it's relationships. Long term takes a while. But she came to me out of nowhere and was like, hey, I want to do what he's doing. And I want to be involved in that because it's making him really happy. And I trust this guy. And I'm willing to quit the job I've got with a husband and a family and all this other stuff. I'm willing to put my livelihood in his hands because I trust what he's doing. I know he's going to take care of that. And it's the same thing over and over again. It doesn't have to be another investor. Maybe she's coming in to do leads. Maybe somebody's coming in just to be a VA for you, whatever it is. Link yourself up with those people who are successful and the kind of people you want to be around and then figure it out from there. That's just how I feel about it.
Speaking of which, for all my friends listening, I need lots of help. So if you want to link yourself up with Alex, I have nobody working for me right now. I need help with SEO. I need help with organized marketing, email campaigns, putting my stuff on YouTube, Instagram. I don't do any SEO because I don't care, but somebody freaking should care and help me out with it. So if you want to link yourself up with me and come intern with Alex for a little while before I inevitably blow up, we can make that a lucrative agreement.
Well, I was going to say that I would be more than willing to jump on a call and help you out with SEO, but
I don't need a call. I need somebody to do it.
You don't need pointers. You need the work, and I'm not going to do that. Not for free.
Right. Yeah. I don't. Yeah. I know what I mostly sort of know what I need to do.
Yeah, it's the unsexy part of the online stuff. And
it's all details and I'm not going to do it. So, and like you said, the success will come inevitably, especially with the new show. This has been tremendously helpful, this show, which I love. And the real estate thing is going very well. So, and then also I've been in this little town. This town sucks. Yeah. We're moving it. I'm working on it. I'm waiting on my taxes to get done. So,
what are you doing to make the town better?
2 months ago, he was waiting on his property to sell.
I closed my side yesterday. The seller side, the buyer side closes tomorrow.
But now he's waiting on taxes.
I got it both. I need both of them.
He's going to be waiting on. I'm just kidding.
Don't make me feel this is the most embarrassing 2 years of my life. Although I shouldn't be too hard on myself because in the last 2 years I have raised about $2 million. I did a bunch of deals. Learned a lot about this camera. Oh my God, I'm so good. You were
jobless for 2 years and you loved it. That's a win.
Yeah, but now I'm bored. Now I want to do good things for Climb Capital. I want to grow and I want to I need to get some I need to get some bigger momentum. So it's been a good 2 years though.
You got some fucking killer things coming with that camera.
It helped me get to I'm going to Iceland.
I was gonna say I'm jelly about Iceland.
Yeah, who wants to go to Iceland with me?
Yeah, what's the ticket on that? 5?
7?
10? 7?
Yeah, all inclusive though.
Oh, that's cool. That's not too bad.
Yeah, that's hotel, food, everything.
When is it?
April 6th. Rod Cleef's going to be there.
Yeah. I don't know.
David Tupin, Eric Upchurch.
My wife has some family that exclusively do photography for their business and mostly do like destination engagements and weddings and things like that. And they're always shooting pictures in freaking Iceland or wherever, Hawaii, constantly. And I'm like, that I've got way too many kids to do that kind of thing, and I'm not a photographer, but it looks pretty freaking awesome.
Yeah. Well, a good photographer will make it look good, right?
I am a photographer. I got
no kids.
a lot of cameras. I'm bringing cameras and gimbals and drones and tripods and flashes, and we're gonna make that look dope. Also, for anybody who's, I don't know when this is gonna come out, the best ever conference is this Thursday, and they're gonna have the annual Bigger Pockets meetup, which will be
come out like 2 or 3 weeks later.
Yeah, so you guys missed it, but I went to the Bigger Pockets. Annual event this Thursday evening at the Bigger Pockets headquarters, and they asked me to do the photography for that gig. But I mean, I was just gonna be there. It's a party. I'll have my camera. I mean, that's basically my superpower. And then also, I'm going to the Bigger Pockets rookie boot camp in something April,
Nice.
late April.
Speaking of Bigger Pockets, I don't think I've let the cat out of the bag yet, and I don't know. I signed an NDA, but I think I'm allowed to let the cat out of the bag. I just can't tell terms, but I signed a 3-month. It's a trial period to make sure I don't suck as the co-host of the Money Show.
Oh, you didn't tell me that.
Yeah, so it's kind of been going this week. Scott really likes doing the Finance Friday episodes, but doesn't have time to do both episodes a week. So Mindy and I will host the Monday episodes, and then Scott and Mindy will host the Friday episodes. So
Congratulations.
yeah, I'm excited. That's kind of crazy. I told my wife, I was like, now I can say I'm a professional podcaster because I'm going to get a paycheck, kind of. Like,
When are you gonna get us paid for this show?
I'm working. That's what I'm working on it. One of these days, this thing.
I want to sit here and demand money.
This podcast has cost me so much money over the last few years, but the intangible benefit is there, and it's fun, and we get to meet a lot of people. But
I don't get any intangible benefits. I don't even think people think of me as the co-host of this podcast. They think of it as your podcast. Nobody reaches out to me about this podcast. It's like, oh my God, I heard that
intro earlier.
Yeah, this is my fucking show. David, you're welcome. You're welcome to also please keep paying for production for my show.
Oh, speaking of, I did go ahead and set up a Friday night meetup in Phoenix for the community. So, and I told Shelby, I was like, well, why don't we all just
the cool kids meetup.
We'll just all come to the same place and time.
The cool kids meetup plus David.
Yeah.
Actually, I told Shelby, I said it's the cool kids meetup plus David and Shelby.
She screenshot. She shared it. And I was like on a run, and I texted back something to the effect of like, wait, so I should not host my own meetup so that I can host one for Alex where I'm not the cool kid? Pass. Like,
if I show up at the meetup, you will not be the cool kid.
That's fine. That's totally cool.
I'll have my camera, so I'll make you look cool.
Don't worry. You've got the camera, and I've been telling people to use your link so they can get a photo. So
yeah.
I don't know that anyone has, but
yeah. Also, have they announced the Bigger Pockets conference?
Not officially, but I think it's October, right?
I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure
the rumor mill says San Diego in October. I don't know if it's
the rumor mill is saying San Diego in October.
Whether it's announced or not, I don't know.
Unofficial announcement.
Yeah, not affiliated whatsoever with that answer. I don't.
Yeah, me neither. I thought it was out. I thought it came out already, but I guess not.
You gonna be taking photos again?
Oh, no, it's 2021, New Orleans. I am the photographer for the
unofficial event.
I am the official photographer. Agreed. I don't have a contract yet, but that will come. But I don't know where it's going to be yet.
You know, it's crazy if you think about it. Like, I was thinking about this the other day. think back like 3 years ago, right? 4 years ago, you and I were driving around wherever we were listening to Bigger Pockets podcast, trying to figure out how to invest in real estate. Now we're both like, it's kind of crazy how things work over the years.
Yeah. In 2016, I bought my first like rental. Yeah, I should have done more actually in the last few years. But whatever, such is life. 16, I bought my first rental. 17, I bought a few. 18, I bought a few. 19, I bought a 24 unit. 20, I bought a 52 unit. 21, I didn't buy much. Did a couple flips, but I sort of took the year off. It's kind of how
you positioned yourself though. Now you're working with Climb. You're going to.
Yeah, that's true. I joined Climb Capital in 2021.
Yeah.
I positioned myself well. And I learned how to use this bad boy, and I traveled a lot, and that was fun. I thought the Bigger Pockets Meet the Investor series was going to do more than it was, but they changed who's in charge like halfway through my production. So, and then the next person just didn't have the same vision. And so that kind of ended up whatever. It's whatever. If I hadn't done that, I couldn't have done Iceland. So
open doors.
It opened some doors.
I think more people should drive around in cars with their friends and dream about changing their futures.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they should, but
that's how I got into real estate. I was driving back from a baseball game with a good buddy of mine in St. Louis. And we were just talking about the futures we wanted for our kids and like college and whatever. Wouldn't it be cool if we had like a business to hand down to them? And we both done some like DIY projects and thought we were badass, right? Like, oh, we could flip houses. This would be great. Well, 3 years later, I'm doing this full time and he doesn't understand what it's like. He's still terrified of buying a rental property and hasn't done anything. And I love him dearly. Great guy. But it's just a different, you take action, you do it, you dive in if you want to make it happen, or you can look back and go, oh, I've been talking about this for the last 3 or 4 years and haven't done shit with it.
It's hard to go all in.
Yep.
It takes real estate takes a little bit of an all in. It takes a good chunk of your day focus. And then now, unfortunately, I think it's harder now than it has been in the last 5 years. Not to say that you can't do it. And I'm sure, and if you have momentum already and you've been doing it, then it's not as hard, but starting now is definitely harder than it has been in the past.
Dude, you said it. I mean, I tell people like the reason that we're doing the wholesaling, I use the word wholesaling because universally people understand that, but we're less wholesaler, more house flipper / burr. We just do the marketing ourselves in-house rather than having to pay an assignment to a wholesaler because we want to hold everything. But like I tell people, like that's why we're doing it, so that we can buy houses for 60, 70 cents on the dollar and then renovate them and still have, some equity. So if things correct, we've got, decent amount of equity, we're getting cash flow, like the numbers are all better. But holy crap, man, if I didn't spend, between paying him, because I told him like we did a ramp up for the commission because he's got a family of 5 to feed or 5 kids. And, like I couldn't just be like, all right, buddy, I hope this works. Can you just not get any money for 4 months and fingers crossed? Like there was some pay there between paying him and marketing. I think we added it up. Was it like 55 grand in the first quarter we worked together with 0 deals? And then we landed 6 in a like 6-day period. And those made all that money back with 3 renovations still going. So like, it worked out, but that's a huge amount of like, that's not like, oh yeah, just go do this. It'll work out.
Just so I don't seem like a total freeloader piece of crap. There were not 0 deals in that time. There were 5 deals in that time. One of which we're still working on a long-term rehab.
0 incomes.
And a bunch of them that fell apart because of bankruptcies and other nonsense that was completely out of my control. I just want everybody to know.
Yeah.
That's how it goes. That's how it goes.
So $0 back in the bank account is probably the better way to say it.
Didn't make him any money, but I cost him money while I was still, I'm working, I'm doing something.
Yeah. But it worked out.
He doesn't need that much money.
So, all right. Alex, somebody wants to reach out to you. What is one thing you need in your life right now? I know you said SEO. Is that the thing? Is that the ask?
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard. I don't know. I need somebody who's going to buy in and says, okay, I can do what Alex can't do, and I'll buy in long term, which is a hard ask because I have no income to give up right now. So,
you could be like that job ad you posted the other day with the guy looking for the 25-year-old girlfriend. Basically,
I need a 25-year-old smoking hot living, assistant who's going to do all my stuff and, maybe give it up once in a while. And there's no money in it. And and you should enjoy every moment of it.
That's the guy who will always need to be good at hiring because he sucks at being a person.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I'm a good bet. I just don't know how to, I don't have the funds yet to pay I think what I'll do is actually when this house sells is I'm going to try to hire a VA to do a bunch of what I need to get done. Yeah. So if somebody wants to come help me with that, what I don't need is somebody who shows up and is like, hey, what do you need and teach me how to do it. It's like, I need somebody who can look at my problems kind of even if it's a few conversations and be like, okay, I can help you do dissemination. Kind of like David does, right? Where it's like, I have a machine. So YouTube, Instagram, MailChimp, and tagging, SEO, blogging, like I'll do the content, but I need help getting it out. Cause I'll post at like 11. My problem is I'll just post at like 11 o'clock at night. I'm like, look at this cool thing. Yep. And it's like, dude, you're actually not helping. I know it when I do it. I'm like, there's a better way to do this. And I just don't care. I'm too busy being cool. And so if somebody can take my cool and make it marketable, there's a lot of money in for it, both of us.
So if you're a D-Rock, come work with Alex, make him Gary Vee.
When I go to Charlotte, I think it'll be really easy.
Yeah. I feel like there's a lot of things over the last year and a half for you that have changed that have, I think, put you in alignment with a much better course than where you were 2 years ago. As far as like, just, I feel like you feel in alignment. I think Charlotte's like the next step. I think
it's coming. It's coming so fast.
I see good things.
Yeah. So, and that's the thing, like I'll hire this out eventually. So if somebody wants to get in on the ground floor, if I can find somebody who likes working with me, then it's easy. Otherwise I'll end up paying somebody, and that's fine too.
Sweet. Well, I hope
everybody subscribe to my YouTube channel and watch the final American political broadcast that aired last night. That is some heavy.
Shoot me an email with the links and I'll put it in the show notes.
That is heavy, but it was informative. Should I do us an outro?
Yeah,
David, where can people find? Where can people find you, David? How do people know who you are?
Nobody knows who I am. Just fucking.
Thank you for listening to my show, the From Military to Millionaire show. My lovely co-hosts, David and Andrew. David, you can find him at FromMilitaryToMillionaire.com, podcast, YouTube channel, Instagram. He's TikTok famous as well. Thank you so much for having us. Make sure you leave a review on iTunes or Apple Podcasts, whatever they call it these days. My name is Alex Fleece. Thank you for listening.